It's come to our attention that the residential size smart valve in very rare cases can make some unwanted noise, and this is a harmonics issue, and we've come up with a fix for that, and we're going to show you here real quick how to make the change that will solve that problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to quickly take apart the valve. This is a very easy procedure, and we'll show you how to do it. We're going to take apart the valve, and so the first thing we need to do that is a 5/32 Allen wrench, and we're going to remove the 3 screws, which we've already loosened here. We're going to take out the 3 screws, keep those aside. Should be able to then easily pull off the top outer sleeve. Set that aside down. We want to make sure we keep the interior of all the parts clean here. So then the easiest way to, what we're going to need to do is then remove the inner sleeve from the other outer sleeve. And I'm just going to insert the tool, twist it loose until it comes right out. And again, we want to keep this clean, so I'm just going to set this down on top here. Leave that there. And then what we're going to do is take out the plunger, spring, and this little flange bearing. Take off the spring, keep that. Get rid of the plunger and flange bearing and replace it with the new one, which you should have. And you'll notice that this one has a little O-ring built into it, and the flange bearing is longer. So we're just going to take the spring, put that on the shaft, put the flange bearing on that with the brim facing down on the spring. Watch out, because there is a slippery sucker. Just push that down so it's over the O-ring. We're going to take that, set it into the center of that bottom sleeve, just like the old one was. We're going to take this, set it back down in there. And then the easiest way is just put some pressure down with your thumb while you're turning it back in. Now, this part you have to be very careful not to cross thread. So if you start feeling any strong resistance, then what you want to do is back up and start over. If it's not cross threading, it should go in very smoothly. If you looked before you took it apart at what setting your valve was at and where the holes were, you could put it close back to that same setting, or you can just start over. If you get it in just enough where the threads on the white are below the rim of the black, that should be far enough. Set this back on top here. I'm going to drop the 3 screws back in. I'm going to take our move this around until the screws drop into their holes. Screw these back down until they're just snug. We don't want to bite into the body, but just till it's nice and snug, hand tight. And then last step is just, let's make sure the inner sleeve is rotating nicely. If we want to go back to the 0 setting, you just go backwards until you get a little bit of resistance. Don't push it any further so it doesn't, no chance of jamming. And when you have it in a nice loose spot close to the initial setting, you're ready to go and reinstall it and calibrate your valve.